welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging and Friends. We are interrupting our normal Deadlands campaign to play a little Death in Space tonight, as we are down our Canadian savior, Matt, and
Praise Jack.
praise Jack. We didn't want to end the first part of that campaign without him. So we're gonna do some Death in Space. We've played it before on the channel, kind of gritty sci-fi, etc., etc. A few of them have played it, a few of them haven't. It'll be fun. Let's just go around, introduce some characters. I guess. See, I don't know how much Adam and John you looked at the book, but basic premise of this whole universe: civilization is coming to an end. All right, slowly, steadily. Universe is contracting, like it's happening. It's not necessarily going to happen tomorrow. Could be a couple of years from now. Could be 10 years from now. Could be 100. Who knows? But like, basically, there's this looming dread that it's going to happen at some point. The general setting is like it's 10 years after this like massive like galactic war like over gems, and there's really nothing new being made anymore. Everything's just sort of being salvaged and repurposed and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of a gritty place. Everyone's kind of like blue collar, doing what you can to scavenge and get by in a fairly industrial, like rough, dark universe. And so that's kind of the basic setting here. So there are 6 different origins. I think we have most of them covered. I don't think we have all of them covered, but I'll let everyone kind of introduce what they're doing, what they're playing, and anything I can fill in. It's fine. Jeremy, you start us off. Who are you playing?
Hello, I am Chrome designation DR460N. I am a tow truck operator. I work with my brother, DR460N2. For customer service reasons, please refer to us as Dragon, as survey results say that is easier to remember. We have a spaceship called the Dragon Wagon. We are double dragon towing, and we will fight for you.
Okay, it's wonderful. What's really great is this is the second time we've had dragon in Death in Space in the universe. One of the dragons died, sort of, and then now we've got like another replenished dragon. So it's great. It's great.
I suppose it should be DR460N3.
Yeah, and I just put dragon number 2 as your old crew member in the players folder, so you can kind of do that as you wish. But that's there for you as well. Despite the fact there's only 5 people in the game, there's like 7 people in the party, which is pretty fun. Okay, next up, we've got Melissa. Melissa, who are you playing?
So I am bringing back Ilya, because Ilya has not died yet, so that's cool. So she is her origin is punk. Her background is moon outlaw. Her look, she's got 2 clean civilian clothes, and she is a hypochondriac. I was actually able to do a little bit of advancement from the last time. And so I improved my dex from a -2 to a -1.
Yeah, we should note that this game, it is very common to start with negative modifier or negative stats. There's no it's not like D&D where you have like the big stat and the modifier. It's just like basically the modifier essentially. It's very common to start with negatives, though there is like a counterbalance to that. You get like extra bonus starting stuff if your stats are really bad, as we will see in a moment when we talk to Adam. But yeah. Okay. And Melissa, you did say that you think it's about time for Ilya to die. So I feel like, that'll be the goal for tonight. Everyone team up, make sure Ilya doesn't make it through the night.
Sounds good. We are agreed.
So those are the 2 people who've played before. And now we go to the newbies, to the fresh meat. Chuck, tell us about your character.
I'm a newbie. Greetings, sirs, madam. I am Eris. It stands for Artificial Anxiety-Ridden Robotic Interstellar Soldier. I am very polite and pleased to make your acquaintance. My drive is technology. I am searching for a future X. And I am a native machine, so I can talk to them directly. There's no ignoring me. I know you want to. And I got a gun and some undersized sunglasses. Yeah, and I was Interstellar Soldier, and I was on the winning side of the war.
Nice.
Probably
and
thanks to me.
you've got an old crew member as a friend.
I
Don't
do.
bury the lead.
Yes.
Who is this? Who is this person?
This is John, the space fisherman. He's one of the harvesters of the space sea.
Okay.
He and I, we go a long ways back. He's quite kind, and
Okay.
he does not smell at all. I'm being polite.
That's good. That's good. Does he not smell as in he doesn't have an odor or doesn't have the ability to smell?
No, space barracuda bit his nose off.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Right through his helmet.
Space barracuda. Oh goodness. Stay hydrated. Oh, that's funny because we're playing on a very dry, arid planet. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty useful. I was inspired today when writing up the adventure by the fact that it was 115 degrees out and I was afraid to go outside. So yeah. Okay, next up, we got John. John, tell us about your character. First time on the channel too for John.
First time on the channel, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So I'm playing Valnos. He's a void, wears a mask with like a cyclopean eye on it, and sometimes you just wind up in places you don't expect, like worshiping a monolith with a bunch of cultists. You'd think there'd be more sex. There isn't as much as you'd think. So that was kind of a bummer. But I kind of guess I wound up on the winning side of the war, so that was cool. And, I just try to keep it all mellow and good. And, I can do my voice as a void thing and ask people without having to like reach for the intercom to just make me pizza rolls and bring them to me. So that's really cool. So yeah.
I think that's the second time someone's referenced pizza rolls in a Death in Space game. I think in one of the earlier games, something with when we were like developing our ship, someone wanted like pizza rolls on it. I don't know. We've had a lot of people come and go in this game. It's been like we weave people in and out, but pizza rolls apparently are coming back again. Okay. And then finally, we've got Adam. Adam, tell us about your character.
Hi, my name is Francis. Francis Nutbutter. At one point in time, I was a professor, but then I thought, you know what? I'm done with this life of being Professor Nutbutter. I'm going to go and be an intergalactic traveler. And so, yeah, I've been flying around and I repair things for people. And I got this really nice hazmat suit because if I ever get outside of it, I don't feel so good.
Okay, Professor Nutbutter. I feel attacked, I think. I don't know.
I mean, we're talking John the fisherman, either that or it was Jerry the race car driver,
Yeah, that's
or
fair.
I could have just been Beef. You could have shook hands with me.
Fair enough. It might, right? It might. Oh goodness. All right. So yeah, let's get started. So yeah, we talked about like the basic premise of the system. Everything's kind of very dark, doom, nihilistic, and not only that, but like there's nothing new. Everything's kind of crummy. And you're constantly trying to like salvage and scavenge and rebuild and repurpose and rebuild and repurpose. And people are basically just sort of like kind of fighting or squabbling over whatever's left. So that's like the general concept for us. Now, so I'm just going to put you on a situation and then we're going to go with it. So that's how this is. One shot, stuff happens. So you all have been basically rock and shuttle hopping your way from the outer rim of the system to the Iron Ring. The Iron Ring is essentially the closest thing to kind of like the capital, the home. It's sort of a large space station essentially, and it's in Death in Space, kind of where a lot of the action sort of takes place if you go with the origin system. So some of you have had ships, some of you have lost ships, some of you are between ships. And so right now you all are between ships, and that's why you've been hitching, trying to get back. Somewhere along the way, you've met each other. Some of you, I know Jeremy's and Melissa's character to go back a ways. Others, you met and you worked together at some point. You don't have to flesh it out unless you want to. But you still have a ways to get back to the Iron Ring itself. You've been spending the past several weeks, maybe a couple months, on the worst of the Fenny Moons, which is sort of like middle rim-ish of the system. And it's a little more than like a war-scarred rock. is essentially what it's been. You've been salvaging at a backwater outpost named Acrimonia, and it's a sort of barely kept habitable by this like cracked dome that keeps out something called the dead winds, like this horrible wind that has a tendency, like it's like super hot and kind of burns away at people. The moon that you're on is otherwise a veritable graveyard of old crashed like military vessels and installations that have long been picked apart for useful items. People are probably still picking them apart here and there. Discarded industrial refuse from some of the sister moons, which are in better condition than this one, and an ill-fated space elevator project that barely got off the ground. Now, the fortunate thing is that you have it on absolutely not good authority that a derelict asteroid hauler known as the Slag Poet sits unclaimed in a canyon far to the east, outside the atmospheric safety of the dome that most people live with under. So this salvage is probably enough to get you back on the ring. If you sell it, if you break it down, or if you manage to fix it up, whatever it might be, you can probably get the hell out of here. So that's sort of the lead you're working on. So you have a fairly, so like that's the idea. Head east, find this derelict asteroid hauler, get what you can from it, and/or try to get it up and running. Now, the first thing we're going to say is that you all, we'll just sort of do this as a way of kind of introducing folk, is you all are looking to get ground transport because it's a ways east. It's like, a good maybe 2 days travel. It's one of the reasons why it hasn't been picked clean yet. And you need ground transport, which isn't the easiest thing to acquire. There are 3 basic factions that make up this domed city of Acrimonia. There's a salvagers union. There's a scrap baron. And then there's to the other sect, which is like this basically a cult that makes up this area. So I guess just to sort of get it started, we'll put you all somewhere, wherever you all hang out, whatever your normal like place of abode has been in this horrible heat-stricken, cracked dome city. And I assume that you all are somehow talking over how exactly you're going to acquire transport or who you're going to get it from. So that's kind of what I'm after. Which one of those 3 factions do you want to try to acquire transport from?
What were the 3 factions again? I got the last one was a cult.
There's a salvagers union, there is a scrap baron, and then there is a cult, a TTO.
Well, was the salvagers union active during the war?
Everybody to one degree or another was active during the war. It's just a question about whether or not they were, who were they active for, and sometimes people have forgotten about it. Some people still hold on to those grudges as well. So,
I did work as a neutral party during the war, salvaging vehicles for either side. I wonder if there's a chance that there might be some beneficial karma there.
It very well could be. Of course, the cult sounds fun as well. My programmed anxiety disorder is quite susceptible to influences from cults, and it could be fun to make new friends.
And really, I mean, cults are, you just be like, oh, yes, we'll drink the Kool-Aid, and then you take their stuff and you leave. So, I mean, versus, scrap barons who, probably want, and unions, they're going to want you to do work or something. That sounds terrible. So I'm in favor of cults. I mean, I had a good time. So
I think, unfortunately, sometimes cults do the whole, like, work the land and do your own thing. And I think the salvagers might be the better way to go.
And
I very much appreciate your opinion. My brother was killed by cultists, but I should not hold a grudge over that.
that we have been walking for a while. Our feet are quite dirty, and the cult might not like that.
What say you, Professor Nutbutter? We value your input.
Well, no matter what happens, I'm pretty sure we'll pull out all right with it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
Murder, death, dismemberment. They could cut off our toes and place them in our ears and nostrils.
No, that won't happen.
They could space us.
Well,
Oh.
yes.
Didn't even
Then
think about getting
Just a-
spaced.
then you would
That's just
have
a couple minutes to death. That's fine.
the best view anyone's ever had.
We could. It sounds like no one has any interest in joining up with the Barons, so we've at least narrowed our
Yes.
choices from 3 to 2.
What are the two choices again?
The
We have a cult.
salvagers or the cult? You like salvage, don't you?
I do. Yeah, it understands me. I understand it.
I suppose there might be salvage that I could talk to and maybe get a date.
I would be happy to be your wingman.
That sounds fantastic. Thank you, sir.
And actually,
I
if
don't
someone
know.
shows interest in you with the salvagers, you can actually be sure they are just interested in you. With the cult, you never really know if they're interested in you. They might just want to bring you into the cult and only pretend like they like you.
This is a problem, huh?
Yeah. But at least
Well-
you'll be accepted.
I will be. That'll be nice.
Oh yeah, yeah. They'll take pretty much anything,
Well,
Which
let's
is-
all
good and bad.
go visit the salvagers. It'll be quite fun.
All right.
And if they're rude, we can just shoot them all in the faces.
And then
That's
go
a-
to the cult.
that-
Plan B.
Yeah, that sounds like
That
fun.
That works.
Okay.
That
Plan
works.
A and B.
Well, I think that would be Plan C, because Plan A is go and talk to the salvagers. Plan B, the follow-up, is then to use violence, and then Plan C is to go to the cult.
True.
Oh,
Plan C,
Sure.
cult, makes sense. Yeah, all right, let's go with
was
that.
wrong.
I think I
Your
should
mastery
leave,
of sequencing is exceptional.
I think I should leave the violence to you all, though.
I did well in school.
I am a soldier.
I'm not. I just kind of. I don't know. I never
gotten
really
paid to
was
do
cut out
violence.
for it. Okay.
Ilya
good.
will take out her pistol, clean it one more time, and put it away.
I know I'm in good company there. So if the violence happens, then I'll be in the other room.
Yeah, just take a step back.
Very good. As long as I don't have to talk to strangers, I will protect you.
All
What
right.
qualifies as a stranger?
Anyone who's not one of us.
Okay.
This could be problematic, but we'll make it work.
Very well.
He's our
Okay.
negotiator.
So the dome, this dome city of Acrimony, it's most of it is just. You can see that there's certain buildings that are still, they're still here. They're still in progress. You can tell it was certainly an industrial focus city. Like there's like factories and things that are in various shape of decay. Like some of it's still working or been repurposed to other things. There's like this kind of water reclamation project that's going on that is probably the thing that is most paid attention to. And you know that nearby this factory there is a union hall for the Salvagers Union. And we'll say that would we want to say that anybody did somebody say they specifically had like a connection there? Did I hear that right? Did somebody say they already
Maybe.
probably know somebody? Okay.
That's kind of what Dragon did during the wars. He salvaged vehicles for either side.
Okay. So yeah, you know that there is a Chrome individual that maybe that you have been able to get some kind of handout gigs with over the past couple of weeks. Most of it has really just been about kind of retrofitting, repairing, really kind of below your ability. You haven't really had to go outside the dome before. It's mainly just been kind of repairing stuff beneath the dome. And so there's someone by the name of Denmark 7. And so you head into the guild hall. And you can see that there's all sorts of like these, it's kind of a cross between like a Western bar and a cyberpunk bar, and that we see what looks like reclaimed tables from like basic metals and things. You can see like doors from cars, or you can see what looks like sheet metal off of like derelict vessels that are being used as tables in a bar. But at the same time, there's like a moonshine still behind the bar, in which they're kind of piecing together whatever kind of swill they possibly can. And you can see like there's various banners hanging down as well to kind of give this a sense of purpose. But Denmark 7 is there. And now you all have gotten this tip yourselves. Like this isn't something that is common knowledge yet. So It's a question of so you come up, you see Denmark 7 sitting there at the bar of this crappy union hall. What does Dragon do by introduction?
Hello, Denmark 7. May I still call you by your old designation of GOAT, greatest of all time? It is a pleasure to see you.
I would prefer nothing else but calling me by that designation. You are the only one who seems to continue to decide to call me that. Most others are calling me other things, like Toaster and Machine Head and Dum Dum. I don't understand the reference for the last one. That doesn't even seem very clever. But
It
pleasure to
doesn't.
see you again, Dragon.
I would go with machine head because then you could say, I've got a machine head. It's better than rest.
Interesting.
And it leads
So are
to
you
that,
saying it is a form of flattery?
Yes.
Well, I should reconsider the way I treat people who call me that. The last one who called me that I hurt very severely. Perhaps I owe them an apology.
Nah, it's okay. Just move forward, learn from it.
I will.
How did they react?
Well, first they went, "Ah!" And then they went, "Ah!" And then they went, "No, please stop!" And various iterations of those concepts. And then they were unconscious for some time. And I think they still might be unconscious, actually. It's been a few weeks.
Interesting. As I, do we use pen and paper? Or they're like electronic devices to keep notes on, or?
I would say it's kind of up to you, but pen and paper, there's probably not as much of that being made these days.
Yeah. So as he enters notes into some sort of device.
Sure.
Yeah. I think Ilya is one of the few people that has like a legitimate data pad.
I do,
Mhm.
yeah.
What brings
Well-
you to the hall today?
We have come across an opportunity that may prove fruitful. However, it does require vehicle transport for potentially 2 days. Was it east?
I see. You do know that there is a significant portion that the Union will want to cull from your whatever salvage you recover.
That is understandable. However, a reduced amount will still be greater than the zero we would acquire without transport.
I see. That is a efficient way of going about business. Now, are you then requesting transport from the Union?
Well, it would depend. We would be glad to work for the Union, or perhaps if you feel this is something that might benefit you directly, as the GOAT, we would also like to provide first dibs to you.
Are you suggesting, Dragon, that I circumvent proper channels of salvage union behavior and take this job myself without properly notifying my superiors, as I am supposed to do, according to union charter?
I am simply saying that you are still a registered Service Pro member of the Double Dragon Towing Company and want to provide you the ultimate selection of service.
Roll a savvy test.
Savvy.
Yep.
Big whopping 0 in that.
It's better than mine.
Okay.
Whoops. Where do I put void points?
Under situation. It should do it automatically, I think.
Oh,
But-
I see it there.
That is a very tempting offer, but I am afraid that if I were to suddenly disregard proper union channels, then any trust that I have developed with my superiors will be broken, and future occupations and future opportunities will be more difficult to attain. I'm afraid that I must make sure my superiors are aware of this. Nonetheless, I do believe I can arrange a transport. Now, there is a union contract you will need to sign that will forego 40% of salvage findings. Are you ready to sign on behalf of your crew, Dragon?
I will take a moment to confer with them.
Us to do in business.
Very well.
Yeah, sure, whatever, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Excellent.
What was the decision we were making?
I'm going to hand over 40% because,
And then we keep 60.
yes.
That's,
Your math is astounding.
Well, we're getting the larger portions, so I mean, I'd call that good.
Thank
Okay.
you, Goat. We are so grateful for your support.
Do you prefer the name Goat?
It is growing on me.
Okay.
And so they go ahead and they give you this huge like kind of data pad signage thing. You're kind of going through it. You're not necessarily official members of the union, so you're basically kind of signing away. There's all sorts of small print kind of going through it, just like sign here and here, initial here, sign here, initial here, date here, initial, sign, date, initial, sign, date, initial, sign, date. And like, 45 minutes later, you're finally done. At that point, they will bring you kind of around back of this like industrial union hall, and you can see that there's this junkyard of various vehicles, none of which seem to be in particularly good shape, but they do manage to kind of give over what looks like a ground vehicle. There's no kind of like no hovering capabilities to it. You can see these big old kind of tractor tires. This will probably sustain you more effectively, considering where you are heading. You are passing through some dangerous territory, and this is the hardiest of vehicles that we can supply on such short notice. And so you're looking at what essentially is like a flatbed truck. And so so like a few of you can fit in the cab, and most of you will probably be kind of in the back on the bed somewhere. There's no major, there's no super difficult. It'd be basically like a dex check to drive this thing, if only in like severe situations, but for the most part, it's fine. Now, understand that part of the contract is if something were to befall this vehicle during the course of your salvaging processes, you all will be held accountable.
Minus 40%.
That is not how it works. But I appreciate your opportunistic attitude. You will go far within this union.
Thank you.
So they'll hand over like the equivalent of like keys, probably some card slot thing. Be well and try not to get eaten.
Wait. Eaten by what?
Oh, there are many horrible things out there. You will probably be passing through an antfolk colony or two. They are a curious species that we have been unable to communicate with in any reliable manner.
Oh, well, I'm just as curious.
I am sure that curiosity will serve you well. After
Yes.
all, it only killed the cat, not the bipedal life form.
Nope.
So, hands over the keys to Dragon. You climb inside, and you can fit 3 people, maybe 4, but very uncomfortably within the cab. It's got hand crank windows. It's like really old school stuff here. And that's essentially what you have. You have this kind of crappy flatbed.
I will gladly sit in back, so that way some of you can sit in comfort up front.
Yo. Shotgun. Hey.
I would also prefer to sit in the back.
Okay.
I would be glad to drive and also sit with you and keep you company.
I like being comfortable.
Well, don't get too comfortable. As in my wearing my environment suit, I get in the middle.
Right. Oh goodness. Okay. So you
This is cozy.
So good. So yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you go ahead and you get everyone situated, including your 2 other crew members, because again there's 7 of you, split between this. This is enough to haul back a significant chunk of material. You can probably do a decent amount with, but you drive on out. There are still roads, but there's not a ton of not a ton of cars on them, but once you get to the edge of the dome, there's really only kind of one way in and one way out. There's like this checkpoint where there's what looks like that's like Scrap Baron security folks are there. There's not, it's not, and nothing's really official. Everything's just kind of oligarchy like here. And after a couple banter back and forth, asking too many questions about where you're going, and maybe you grease them with a few credits or so, you eventually get out of the dome. So, Dragon, you're driving, you said, right?
Unless somebody else would like to drive.
I think it's all you.
Go ahead.
I'm good at fixing, not the wrecking portion.
Ilya is in the bed of the truck with Eris, and she's got out her tablet, and so she pulled out some like game for us to play while we're driving.
Is there anything on the radio?
This is
Are there good
amazing.
tunes?
Thank you.
Hey, you know what this reminds me of?
What?
I was hoping you would tell me. I'm having trouble remembering. What's that game?
Tic-tac-toe. That's, yep. We're going to
Okay.
play it on the dust here on the dash, you and me, while Dragon drives.
John
Okay.
the fisherman's got his pullouts fishing off the back of the truck as we drive.
Okay. Roll a dex check for John the fisherman. Oh goodness, you guys are weird.
Yeah.
So weird.
John's got a void point. I don't think John gets void points.
I think so. I'm not sure actually, because like you can keep track of it manually if you want, because they'll still be able to roll from time to time. Okay. It's mostly like barren wastes, but occasionally you can see there's these strange lizards and things that are kind of poking about, and other kind of hardy, scaly, like reptilian kind of creatures that kind of pop down into these holes. And you don't really see a whole lot that doesn't have that kind of hardy, epidermic layer to it. There's not a whole lot in the way of of vegetation either. That which there is sort of brown and kind of thorny, and nothing really looks particularly friendly here. You can tell that the atmosphere, once you get outside the dome, becomes a little thinner, and those of you without suits on, those of you who need to breathe, you start to notice it after probably about an hour or so. You can kind of feel yourself getting slightly more short of breath. You also get a little bit kind of hazy here and there, like you're slightly oxygen deprived, but not to the point where you're in any amount of danger. Those of you outside, those of you that aren't in the cab, you can start feeling this heavy and hot, like gust of wind just whoosh into you. And as it does, those of you with skin, sort of, whether it's synthetic or otherwise, you can kind of feel it begin to burn away somewhat. And those of you who are wearing like EVA suits or armor or anything like that, you can actually kind of see some like heating up of the outer layers as well. So it's kind of beginning to accrue a problem. You would probably guess that if you spent an extended period of time in this area, it would likely cause some trouble. So it definitely puts a clock somewhat on it. First couple hours of travel, no big deal. It's kind of there's the remnants of roads for probably about 10 miles or so east of the dome. You knew that like this moon held more of these kind of dome cities, and there were these various kind of paths that would connect the two, connect one to the other. But you kind of eventually sort of veering off path. You have specific coordinates that you're using, probably tracking on Ilya's data pad or something like that, and you're able to kind of get a pretty clear bearing. For a while, like you start going off-road over this barren patch of land, and eventually you start seeing these like what initially was just kind of flat, arid, dry, occasionally rocky landscape becomes interrupted as you start seeing stuff kind of pop up out of the ground, not like instantly, but you can see things sticking up out of the ground, almost like these scattered trees here and there, like they're kind of brown, orange colored. But as you drive kind of close to one of them, those of you that are on the back probably get a better look at it, and they look like these sort of like strange, like they look like copper, like these almost like copper fetishes or like sculptures in some way, and you can tell that there's like they've been repurposed from something. You can see old signposts. You can see what looks like old piping from various industrial places, but they've all been like crafted. Like it's not random. They're crafted, and you can see them kind of popping up from time to time. And whenever you kind of drive past one, Ilya, you notice on your data pad as you're doing your navigation, like everything just sort of spins and kind of goes wildly at that point. And it causes like this sudden breakdown of your map navigation.
Sorry, Ilya and Aris were rolling to see who was winning at the games that we're playing.
Oh God, who's
You're
winning?
doing
tablet.
quite well at this. I am ashamed at my lack of skills with words with friends.
Well, I think you can keep practicing these words with friends
Very
like
well.
me and the rest, and then you will get better.
That sounds amazing. Thank you very
Another
much.
cat. You're just too good at this.
I know that's a reference. What?
No, I'm
To
just-
what?
We're playing tic-tac-toe, and
Yeah.
no matter what happens, it's always cats.
Oh, cats games.
Hmm.
I get
Yeah.
that.
So
now.
unfortunately, like Ilya's like supposed to be navigating, and then is sometimes playing the game, and then like goes back over to the navigation. Is like, oh, wait, hold on.
So this game was a really close one, and I named it.
Yeah.
I named it Tommy. Yeah. Tommy
Okay.
the cat.
Cool. Yeah. Tommy the cat. Yeah. It sounds. Yeah. That's cool, man. That's cool.
Poor dragon is just focusing on driving, and everyone else is just screwing around.
These structures do seem to be made out of valuable materials, although we should not stop now. If our salvaging process is less fruitful than we desire, perhaps we can dismantle some of them on the way back.
So this thing, it moves like an old elephant. Which direction are we heading?
That way.
It's an elephant.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it was a southbound pachyderm.
Oh.
Ha 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 ha. You are very funny.
So how much further we gotta go? Because I gotta go, if you know what I mean.
Oh.
They will provide an estimate of.
Well, Ilya, that's the thing. When you look at your data pad, you realize you all have like from playing the game and from this weird kind of like destabilization of your navigation software. Like you realize you guys have been sort of traveling in the wrong direction for a little bit, and you realize that probably for about the last hour or so, you've been traveling kind of northward instead of eastward, kind of veered off at some point. And when you look around, you realize like literally everywhere around you, like for as far as you can see, it's just flat ground, and just those like almost interspersed, like every somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe like 100 meters or so, you see those weird like copper fetishes just sticking up like 100 meters to 200 meters apart, almost like perfectly interspersed with one another. And as you're driving, Dragon, you notice that there's a figure in the road, like not in the road, in the path up ahead, like kind of just moving past. It's just, you can see that they've got this brown, this brown kind of cloak on there. You can't really see their face. They're just completely kind of covered up, and they're hunched over and they're bent over. And you can see that they're just kind of moving across. And then eventually they just kind of come to a stop, and they turn, and they're like kind of facing right at the truck as you're driving up towards it.
Well, there is good news and bad news. All of these structures we've seen are obviously indicators of civilization out here, and there appears to be a member of that civilization. The bad news is, we have no way of knowing if they will be friendly or not. However, we are lost in the desert. Perhaps we should talk to them.
You
Yeah.
said these copper, they're like almost like fetishes, like
Yeah, they
Indeed.
look
Okay.
they look like almost they almost look artistic in like their
Yeah. We should run that guy over. Because maybe I don't know. Maybe we're in cult lands or something. They're probably gonna like eat us. I don't know.
I would like to add that I also have other good news to add. Valnos, I found this bottle here.
That's great.
We
Handed up to
we
the
have solved
cab.
one of our problems.
We just reach out and there you go. Yeah, there we go.
There are 7 of us and one of them. So I do think the numbers are on our side that we can go have a conversation.
What's the worst that could happen?
Very bad things, but
Uh-huh.
this
I
is what we
cut
do
our
every
toes
day.
off.
Probably more of them. But all right, yeah, sure. Just gonna do this here.
Okay. So, do you pull up like alongside of them? Do you like stop right in front of them? Like, how does this work?
Yeah, pull up close and stop.
Okay. Does anyone get out? They just kind of stay. They just stay like right in front. Of,
Ilya
like,
will hop out of the
grill.
back.
Okay.
John and I will stand up in the bed behind the cab
Okay.
with both of our guns at the ready. Not out, but ready.
Okay.
In case
Fair
I
enough.
have to politely murder this fool.
Okay. Okay.
Dragon, you should roll your window down.
Are we staying in here or are we getting out to...
Did you want to get out?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. I'm cool just sitting here. I'm gonna ready my little metal Doritos in case I have to throw it at somebody. But all right.
Yeah, I like it how you're on one side and Dragon's on the other.
Yeah.
And then there's an engine in front of me. So
It's a nut butter sandwich, one might say.
That sounds delicious. So,
Yes.
Ilya, you said you're getting out and going around. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. So, Ilya, you go up, and they're standing there, and they're probably, they're hunched over, so they don't seem particularly like big, but they kind of rear back just a little bit, and they kind of throw the hood, the cowl, the cloak back, and you can see like their face is, and their whole head. It's like you're looking at what might happen to a person, after several months of like necrotic decay. And you can just see what looks like patches of their skin is kind of missing, and you can see what looks like kind of bone protruding underneath. But a lot of it is like reinforced with like metal plating here and there. You can see what looks like one of the eyes has been replaced with some kind of optical supplement. And like everywhere where their skin is showing, it just looks like burnt and ruined. And when you kind of pull, when you step up, they say that they look at you and they got this like horrible like voice that is half like just dry, parchy throat, but also you can tell it's going through some sort of modulation at the same time when they speak. And they say, "You cannot pass without water and song."
Oh,
Sorry, water
you-
and
are you looking to sell some water?
You cannot pass without water and song.
Just to sing.
Oh. Well, my name is Mud.
is
And
it?
I have been through the desert on a horse with no name.
Is that what brand this vehicle is? Horse. We should have named it.
My name is Mud.
So
Not to
they
be
put
confused with-
both their hands out, and you can see that they're heavily wrapped, like mummy-like. Their fingers are still kind of sticking out here and there. A few of them have been replaced cybernetically, and they have both their hands out as if they're waiting for you to provide something.
Hey, you know how you said you had to go?
I do, and I had the bottle. I have some water-ish type substance here.
Here, hand me that bottle.
All right. I hand you there.
I take the bottle of urine and I pour it in my liquid purifier
Oh,
and I purify
okay.
it.
Okay. I think that
that's
makes
awesome.
that makes sense. Okay. Okay.
All right. So, here you go.
So you give this bottle of purified urine over to them.
And like I said, my name is Mud, not to be confused with Jack or Peter, Jill or Darius. My name is Mud. It's always been. It's short for Aloysius Abercrombie Abercrombie. That's long for Mud, so I've been told.
Yeah,
You need to keep going, Jeff.
You're getting nothing from Jeff nor this NPC. I will not encourage that behavior, Adam. How dare you?
You want me to actually sing and not just recite lyrics?
I want you to do whatever you like.
Does he respond in any way to the presentation of the liquid?
He takes it, grabs it.
Oh, you have water.
What can I roll to think of like some cult songs that maybe I know?
Like you trying to something that would be like relative to like the area or something. Savage would probably be it.
Savage? Yeah, give it a shot.
Purified stale aftertaste.
Ooh.
Okay. Sure, yeah. You would probably know a few, dirges and things like that. Most of them have to do with, end of the universe, end of the world. All of them are fairly about death or decay or
uplifting,
something like that.
really.
Yeah, real dark stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I'll whip one of those out. Doom and gloom and everything's awful. We're all gonna die one day. Yay!
Okay, so you can see like after you finish singing, you can see that they seem to like they take the bottle and they like if it was like the cap was on, they'll undo the cap and you'll see them take a swig and they'll drink and then they'll speak. The path you are on is filled with mines. You should head that direction for greater safety. And points off kind of to the northeast a bit. This area here is buried with experimental technology. Some of you who come from the city are too foolish to realize what danger you are in. We have set up warning signs. And they kind of point to these like fetishes along the way, but it seems you have ignored them. Be careful how you drive.
Our friend Dragon has been doing a fantastic job at driving, and I'm pretty sure with the tips that you've provided, we will reach our destination.
The quality of my information is proportionate to the quality of the water and song you have provided.
Oh.
Good fortune to you.
And to you as well. Thank you so much for your time and assistance. We hope you are satisfied with this interaction.
Puts the hood up, and you see them just start to like slowly kind of move off to the side. And as you do, you watch this like off to the left of you, about 20 or 30 feet away, what you thought were like rock outcroppings, like all of a sudden they start to move, and you see about 12, 15 different people dressed just like them with the same kind of like hoods and cowls and things kind of stand up, and they begin kind of all moving in this sort of southerly direction, kind of like a herd of buffalo, very slowly dragging off into the distance.
So I don't know about you, but I'm real glad that we're gonna not take the mind route, correct? Because, I mean, I don't want to blow up today.
I agree.
We should at least have some salvage before getting blown up, I think.
Yeah. I mean, we could try to salvage the mines, but that sounds risky.
I did have that thought too. They sounded like they would fetch several hollows, but a little dangerous.
If everyone wanted to do it, I'm sure we could find a way to, though.
Probably could.
We would learn a lot.
So Ilya will look to Aris and just say, I think we're going to just need to leave it that I won. And then I should focus more on navigation. Hopefully that's
Now,
okay.
was an amazing game. You did fantastic. Thinking I could try and talk to the mines, see if they would just, not blow up.
I like Dragon's idea that maybe on the way back, once we have achieved plan A, then that could maybe be plan B.
And if our salvage truck is already full, we don't need to worry about the mines.
Also true. So Ilya will get back, but now she's going to open the little window so that she can focus in talking to Dragon and navigating.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. As I lean in one
Your
direction, my EV
trying to
suit.
talk through the helmet of your EV suit. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. And then I lean the other direction. And now I'm in Dragon's way. Oh, this is a problem.
No, it's no problem at all.
Fine.
I'm grateful for the company.
And
If this is comfortable for you, then it is comfortable for me too.
I take solace in machines.
Your suit is kind of spongy. It's cool.
All right, so Dragon, give me a dexterity test as you begin trying to drive carefully throughout this next patch of land.
All right. Let's
It
watch
has-
this too.
Dragon has his head out the window. He's trying.
Or not watch it. Maybe let's just roll a nat 20.
So as you're driving, as you're kind of moving through, you notice actually at a certain point that the ground kind of starts to feel like it's sinking a little bit, like it's like you can feel like this sudden bumpiness to it that wasn't there before, and you feel like a dip in the path, and right as you kind of go over that, you realize you just kind of triggered something, and you just do a hard kind of turn on the wheel, and then within a second and a half, you see erupting from the ground. There are these in all different directions. You can see there's these long they look like some sort of metallic cabling that just rip up and out of the dirt of the area. These tethers just rip up into the air, and they try to kind of wrap around the truck. You're able, however, with your nat 20, to quite easily, well, probably not even that easily, but very heroically, curve the truck in such a way as that one of the tethers probably hits the side, but it doesn't fully wrap around it, so it doesn't actually stop it. But unfortunately, everybody in the back of the truck is now needing to have to roll a dex check for me here to see if they're able to kind of maintain, stay on the flatbed as this rapid turn happens.
This isn't my first rodeo. Oh,
So
wait.
Ilya-
Oh, no.
Ilya was sort of sticking her head in through the little window in the back. And so basically what she did is she just grabbed the EVA suit of Butter. So, that was her stabilization.
That's awesome.
Oh, no.
No. No.
There should also, I think, be two NPCs in the back too, Dragon and okay. So
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll for Dragon 2 or whatever you're calling him.
Yeah.
I hope it's just Chuck. It's just Chuck.
It's just me. Oh no. I'm
You all
falling. Ah.
the truck turns, and one one of these tethers manages to lash across the back of the flatbed, and most of you are able to kind of hang on, but you watch as poor Eris just goes flying through the air, like right off of the flatbed, landing in the ground, taking taking 4 points of damage. And as you see him land, you watch as one of these tethers just flops down on top of him and begins to wrap around him. Roll a body test there, Eris.
Well, right off the bat, that's 50% of my health.
Yeah. It's called death in space, not, just shits and giggles in space.
I got a 3.
So you all watch as this tether wraps around Eris. You see this surge of electricity just jolt through him, and then he just goes limp and just lays there on the ground while this cable is wrapped around him. You all have managed to avoid the truck getting trapped, but you look back and you see that Eris is wrapped in one of these and doesn't seem to be capable of doing anything at the moment. What would you all like to do? Leave him? Sounds good.
There's no chance of that. Dragon 2 will immediately jump down to assist.
Okay.
So will John, the space fisherman.
Okay. So the two of you
Double
move over.
NPC power.
As the two of you start moving over, you notice that, all of the other, there was a good about 7 or 8 different of these tendrils that ripped up. Only one of them wrapped around Eris. The others are kind of lashing around like snakes in the dirt, here and there. They're searching for something, just whipping around here and there. And then you notice that the whole area just seems to be teeming with dirt getting kicked up in the air. And it's making it more and more difficult to kind of see where these tendrils are whipping and moving about. And it's also obscuring where Eris actually is. He's becoming quickly obscured in this sort of dusty cloud while these crazy tendrils are happening. So how are you all getting over there to help him?
Well, part of my equipment does include a tow chain that I often use as a thrown weapon. While I can still see him, I would like to throw this tow chain and hook some portion of his equipment.
Okay. I'm going to say do it at disadvantage just because there's all these different things whipping around, so there's a chance of actually getting, of it hitting something else.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
yeah.
so attack at disadvantage.
John, the fisherman's going to be doing some Mission Impossible, acrobatic flips and stuff to get over to Eris.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Professor Nutbutter lights one of his incense sticks from his pack of incense sticks and, proceeds heavy into thoughts and prayers.
That's cool, man. Can I get one of those? You don't mind? I'm out, and I don't know anybody that's got some. So
you would like one as well?
Yeah.
The power of positivity will prevail.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We're smoking this out with incense.
John the fisherman got a 1.
Okay. So Dragon throws this chain with a hook in the end of it into this dust cloud. You feel it latch on, and you're pretty sure it just latched on to Eris. But the dust cloud becomes too much to be 100% sure. But right as you're getting ready to pull it back in, you watch as what's his name again, Chuck? What's this old John the space fisherman?
John the space fisherman
goes cartwheeling into the dust cloud, trying to save. And John the fisherman. Sorry, buddy. John. Oh my God! You rolled another natural 1. I just noticed that. Takes 5 points of damage and is also kind of wrapped up by one of these tentacles.
John had 4 hit points.
John can roll a body save to see if he survives. Immediately. If he fails, he's dead.
You got 3.
So Dragon, you watch as John goes bravely rushing into this dust cloud. You hear a ah! And then you see the tentacle just erupt out of this dust cloud and just slams a broken, just completely crushed body right in front of you. It's not Eris. However, John the fisherman lies dead before you.
Okay.
Does he get a death in space vision?
I guess we could do that. Yeah. So in this game, for those of you that are new, there is so the basic idea is whenever a character dies, they get the last thing they see, the last vision they have, is of static coupled with like how they were supposed to actually die. So John the Fisherman was not supposed to die to a tentacle bind in the middle of an arid desert. He was supposed to die some other way. So Chuck, if you go into the roll table menu, you'll see a death in space vision. Go ahead and roll that, and then you just kind of narrate what the last vision he had was.
Yeah, you drink. John the Fisherman. I drink strange fluid out of this fancy cognac bottle. It ain't conforming to the boundaries of my flesh. It's like moving in and out of me, real weird, like. And it just, it just burns through my body. It's just like a whole an extra one just goes right through me.
And then the last thing he sees after that, that was like the vision he had of how he should have died from drinking from cognac. And then static comes. Now the body's lying next to you there, Dragon, but you are confident that your hook landed on your target. So what do you want to do? You just want to pull him in, or?
I only have the one hook, unfortunately. I will say a great many things for John the Fisherman later, but at the moment, I will enable my vibration dampening skin so that I can walk an immediate course back towards the truck and not worry about walking through this field.
Absolutely. I think that makes perfect sense. What does it look like when the dampener comes on?
Well, I am wearing my official double dragging towing uniform, and it has a pin on it here that, much like a Star Trek sort of thing, that you just and then the Dune style like little field pops up around them.
So you see the field comes on, you start moving, and you can see like the dust that's supposed to hit you with like this great, this sort of not an extraordinarily velocity, but it kind of just cakes on top of you here and there, and it just drips off, and you're just pulling and pulling and pulling, and eventually you see the body of Eris kind of being pulled along, and the tentacle is like kind of still wrapped around him, but you've managed to pull the body free of this dust cloud and where all the dangers are happening, and the tentacle that's wrapped around him seems inert, you think, but it's still wrapped around him. But he does seem to be free from that immediate whirlwind.
So if he is in the bed of the truck at this point, would we say?
He's close to the truck. I wouldn't say he's probably... You have to detach him from that tentacle first.
So Ilya does have an electric multi-tool. I'm assuming one of the tools of the multi-tool is something that cuts things.
Oh, sure. Yeah, like a knife or something. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, and so it takes a little time, but you're able to kind of like cut through. Are you cutting through the tentacle, or are you cutting through Eris's body?
The
latter would go quicker.
Tentacle first, hopefully avoiding the second.
Okay, fair enough. It takes a little time, but you're able to kind of cut through, no problem. It does take a while. As a multi-tool, it's probably not very big, but it is a very slow process. But it's also one that doesn't...
this.
Yeah.
Little pocket knife.
But eventually... yeah, go ahead.
That cable right there, if you cut here, that would go faster. Is there any way that I can assist with that?
Yeah, you can roll if you want to roll like a tech test, as this is some weird kind of metal cabling that he's wrapped up in. And if you succeed, we'll say it goes quite fast, and so you're not delayed.
No.
So he points. He's constantly pointing at Eris's body, like cut here.
That'll go really fast.
No.
So it's up to you. It's up to you, Melissa, whether you do it. Eventually, Eris, you do come back to consciousness. Like it was basically it was a stun, so you would be out for like a round of combat, basically.
Yeah,
but you are.
I would
back.
imagine probably at one of those times when I couldn't quite see to know that he was wrong, and so I would imagine you're awoken to kind of being like cut into a little bit.
Oh no.
Okay. All right. You come to. You get taken out of this tentacle, but you also see lying on the ground about 10, 15 feet from the truck, wrapped up in another one of these like tentacle things, is the completely battered and mangled body of your best friend, John the Space Fisherman.
Oh no. Poor John. You will always be remembered as the best harvester of the space sea. And I'll give him a salute as I'm being dragged away by Dragon's number 2's cord thing.
I think before his days were done, he was a space fisherman.
It is kind of funny that he did kind of get
Yeah.
killed. That's sort of weird. Okay. So
Tentacle monster got him.
do you leave the body there?
Is there? I mean, it's wrapped up, right?
It's wrapped up in the thing. I mean, you
friends.
could
Yeah.
do it. You could get it. It's more time. That's all.
Yeah, I gotta try and save. Well, I can't save him, but respectful of his body. So I'm going to get up and run over there
Whoa.
and grab him
Hang on.
and pull
No.
him out.
No, don't do that. If you're going to go over there,
Yes.
and you realize that when you walk on the ground, they come up, right?
Oh, this is very easy. I know a way around this.
Oh,
I will simply walk without rhythm.
And I will stay in the bed of the truck and watch this and see if it works.
Okay. You could get to it. Like it's okay at that point. Like once the tentacle latches around something, it sort of like becomes inert, so you're okay. So you can get up there and grab them. That's not an issue. It's really more about this. Just takes time. Is really all it is. That's all. Okay. But you get the body. You drag them back onto the flatbed of the truck. The rest of you get on the truck, I assume, at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Poor John.
Never got out.
And
Now
you
I have
begin.
two guys.
You never got out. This guy who knows right here. And so you can. I'm sorry. Did you just put an obstacle? No, screw it.
Eris, if you are satisfied with your rescue, please feel free to click this link to rate.
I would love to leave a positive review on your rescuing capabilities.
Oh God, I love Space Yelp. Death in Space Yelp. Okay. So you get back to driving. Those of you in the cab, you did mention like you wound your windows down at one point. Does that mean you're driving with the windows up?
Usually, yeah.
Okay. So you drive for an hour, let's say, and you're finally out of this like this strange field with all of these different fetishes and stuff, and you presume like you're out of the minefield. Drive for a little while longer. It's getting kind of dark, but you know that it never really gets too dark on the moon. Like there's always a little bit of light coming. And those of you who are in the back of the truck, and anyone who doesn't necessarily have on some kind of EVA suit, you realize that like you've been kind of getting bombarded with these horrible winds the whole way. These like really hot baking winds. So everybody who's in the back of the truck who doesn't like if you have the windows up, I'll say those of you in the cab are fine. But anyone in the back, go ahead and make a body save. If you have an EVA suit, you should still be rolling it. It's just it'll have a slightly different effect if you fail.
I
a
have
one.
an EVA suit, but I'm not wearing it currently.
Oh, nice.
So I will put it on.
Oh my
after
gosh.
this. We both failed.
Okay.
I rolled a 1. So many ones tonight.
Wow.
So many ones.
There were
I
a
have
lot of
3
negative ones
void
tonight.
points.
wait, weren't you in the cab though?
What? This
his-
is Dragon 2,
Right.
Oh, Dragon 2. Okay, got it.
Those of you with
otherwise known
natural
as Electric Boogaloo.
ones. So is Dragon in a suit or is Dragon just in like kind of normal gear?
I mean, I wasn't given a suit in my
Okay.
beginning equipment stuff, so I assume not.
Dragon's
He's
gonna
got
take.
a towing uniform.
Dragon's gonna take a point of damage and reduce his body by 1. It's temporary. He'll get it back if he survives, but like reduce his body by 1. As when you look at the sort of synthetic skin that makes up the various exposed portions, whether it's his face, his arms, etc., you can see it's actually beginning to deteriorate, and you're starting to see like it's growing thinner and almost burnt. And you can see that there's various like not veins themselves, but like the equivalent of that, like the various cables and the route and the network paths and stuff that kind of start to show up beneath the synthetic skin. All of that begins to kind of deteriorate. Ilya, same
So
question.
you could potentially have the creepy like robot smile where the skin's starting to come off.
Exactly, and that's exactly what's happening. So like your body is kind of being kind of worn away. It's painful, so you take the 1 point of damage, but it's also just like deteriorating your body. So that's the 1 point of the body save. Melissa, same thing. So except for you are not Chrome, right? You're Punk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's actually your skin that starts. You can start to see that it's like you have these spots where maybe your skin just happens to have gotten hit by some of the winds that've been sliding through, and it almost looks like you've got this intense burn, almost like a very localized like 3rd degree burn, and like radiating out from the center of it. You can see some of your skin beginning to just kind of get eaten away, and you also feel like your body is starting to deteriorate as well. So one body point down and 1 damage as well.
Yeah, so this is not doing well for my hypochondriac character. She's kind of freaking out a little bit. So you just hear this like low, constant, like just scream coming from the bed of the truck.
It's like Tina from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
Hang in there.
I don't. Yeah, sometimes your positivity is super helpful. This is not one of those times.
You've got this. I believe in you.
I don't have this. You have a suit in a cab. Yeah, not me.
It's super safe.
Does this look safe? And she like turns your head. Like,
Would you like to switch?
It's a little late for that now. It's fine.
No, like I'm sure Dragon can stop and we can switch.
We have a job to do. I will hold this over your head. Just know this is coming.
Your kindness is noted, Professor Nutbutter. However, it would seem spending more time within this terrible situation would only make things worse.
Exactly.
What's the worst that could happen?
More of this.
Yeah.
Thank you for your enthusiasm, Professor Nutbutter.
I am interested to see what happens when we get there, so I will let this go because I want to know.
So those of you in the cab, you've been driving for a bit, having this conversation. People in the back have been complaining. You start to see that the horizon begins to get decorated once more with various objects and obstacles, and you start to notice that in these fairly enormous structures, you also start noticing stuff flying in the sky too. And when you pass by, like the closest thing that you see, it's like this large, almost like 3 to 4 story structure, and it's this geometric kind of blossom, like a flower almost, like thorny in this sort of weird angular way. And as you're scanning the horizon, you see them being made, like they're literally being built up in real time. And then you see some of them are like crumbling in real time, and others are being built up. And like every which way you look, this is kind of coming up, kind of going down, kind of going up, kind of going down. And you realize as you look overhead, there are these sort of strange kind of insect-looking creatures. They're just sort of moving around and this kind of surfing on these strange winds that seem to be eating away at your skin. And as you're relatively close, I would say probably within about 100 meters or so of one of these like strange geometric shapes, you notice that, Dragon, the ground in front of you just gives out. You just see like this creek suddenly form of emptiness, like just like eating away at the dirt, creating this chasm in front of you, kind of blocking the path forward.
Professor, what was in that incense?
Oh, jasmine, a little nightshade, nothing.
Oh, okay. That explains some things. should we stop and take a look at that?
I would love to.
I'm gonna have to get out now.
Do I take the 1 and 1 for failing that test as well?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even realize you failed. Actually, you only take the damage. You don't take the body damage. They crit failed, so it's even worse for them.
Okay.
I could check it out if you'd like me to.
Might as well put that EVA suit to good use.
Yeah, it's
I'm
great.
just gonna open.
I don't
the
know why
door,
you don't have
slide
one.
out.
Speaking of that, Ilya,
As soon as the professor gets out, I get back in.
if you would like, you can use my EVA suit.
Hey, just in case, Dragon, could we tie that hook around me? Because I'm about to go towards the edge of that, and I would hate to fall in.
Excellent thinking, Professor Nutbutter.
So we'll tie the hook around me, and then I will dig out of my pack a hover hammock and get in that and push off of the truck to hover over the chasm so I can get a closer look.
Okay.
Awesome.
So you start getting out, and you start hovering across, and are you trying to get closer to like one of these like those geometric structure, or are you trying to get closer to the cat? What was it you're getting closer to?
The emptiness, the nothingness that.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's no problem. Roll a savvy test as you kind of look down and try to assess what's happening.
It's my best stat.
Okay. You see, it goes down not forever, but it goes down probably at least 50 feet or so. It doesn't become like impossible to see the bottom. You do see something moving down there, but you can't make out exactly what it is.
Hey, there's ground, and it moves.
Those of you in the back of the truck, you could see that like the truck has come to a stop within, 10 feet or so of this chasm, right? Well, all the rest of you in the back of the truck, you look behind you and you watch as behind you, about 10 feet away from the truck, the chasm begins to open behind you as well. And the sand, the dirt just kind of fall down into it.
That's bad.
Well,
Excuse me, everyone. We are in grave danger here.
Oh wait, no, sorry, I didn't see that. Yeah, so continue.
danger, like we should get out of the truck.
Are there any of those strange creatures in the winds above us?
Yeah, there are a bunch of them, and they are moving around, and like they're not in like any specific formation. You don't see like they're not, but they're moving around almost like symmetrically in some ways. Like they're kind of parallel to one another, but they're doing really erratic shapes. Go ahead and roll a savvy test, Dragon, as you're looking around.
Oh no. Oh, okay. Actually, I guess this is Dragon 2. He's the one in the back. Go.
Okay. You're not really sure exactly what they're doing, but you do think that there's something to the shapes themselves. Like you look at these strange kind of geometric blossoms, you see the weird patterns that they're flying around in the sky. It has like there's something about it that further study would probably reveal something, but you're not sure if now's the time. You also notice that on the driver's side, to your left, about 10 feet away, you see a chasm has opened up, connecting the chasm in front of the truck to the chasm behind the truck. It's at that point that those of you on the passenger side, whether you're in the back or you watch as like there's these mounds of dirt that are slowly kind of moving in your direction. There's 5 of them, and they're like kind of coming from like the right-hand side. And right as they get within just a few feet, bursting up out of the sand, you see these 7-8 foot tall, half ant, half like humanoid looking creatures with these strange kind of dripping mandibles, these arcing arms with these horrible kind of razor claws. You have tentacles coming out of the foreheads in all sorts of these strange angular ways, like shifting and twitching, and they move with no fluidity whatsoever, like with this horrible like angular mess. And I'll say everybody outside, roll a dex. Actually, wait, is it dex or is it? 1 second. Yeah, I'll say who has the best dex outside.
I have a -2.
-1.
I've got a 0.
I have a 0 as well.
Okay, so go ahead and I'll say whoever's got the 0, roll dex for your side, and I will roll dex for my side, and this will determine who gets first initiative.
Is it me or Dragon?
This is
Either,
Dragon
you
2. I vote nut butter rolls.
Okay.
Because I don't want the blame.
It's not a failure. It's going to be like whoever.
How many void
gets-
points do you have
gets
now,
better.
Adam?
I have 2 because I didn't get the void point for that dexterity.
And with a 14, they're higher, so they're going to get to go first. So for those of you that are playing for the first time, combat. So combat is popcorn initiative. Their side's going to get to go first, and we all kind of know how popcorn initiative. Once one character goes, they choose who goes next. And that means you could kind of keep the initiative on your side for a while. Now, there are some things in the game that are little tweaks here and there. There's like risky attacks that have the potential to like wrench initiative free, and there's always that kind of like double turn at the end of a round, that kind of thing. I think everyone here has done some sort of popcorn initiative before, but there are 5 of them outside that are all kind of sort of surrounding the side of it. Everyone is effectively by the truck, with the exception, I believe, of Adam's character, who is kind of hovering.
He doesn't want to say it.
I don't have the names in the overlay, so I can't actually see your name. Oh yeah, you're Nutbutter. How did I forget Professor Nutbutter? That's right. I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, he's the only one.
And so, just like any other game,
Son.
it's your turn. You can move a little bit, and you can do an action. So who's all on the flatbed right now, or near, or like outside the cab of the truck? So
I'm on the flatbed.
all right. So I'm gonna say each of the 3 of you are on the flatbed are gonna see one of these leap up and attack you. So the secondary dragon, and both Chuck and Melissa as well. So the target is your defense rating. So it's not necessarily 12, it's whatever your defense rating is. So we'll start with Chuck. Chuck, this thing leaps up onto the bed, and it kind of shifts and sort of moves to you like it's some sort of kind of Korean horror movie where they cut a couple of the frames out as the weird monster moves forward you. And that's what's coming as 2 of these things leap onto the back to kind of go after you all. What is your defense score?
10.
Okay. So they are going to make a bite attack against you with those slathering mandibles.
Ew.
And you said 10. That'll be a miss as this comes up and you're able to, like, just at the last second kind of dodge out of the way, and this weird head kind of slams into the back of the cab of the truck. The second one comes after Ilya. What's your defense?
11.
Okay, so a little bit harder against you. Also a miss as you're able to kind of move it off to the side. And the third one will go after the one that's hopping onto there's 3 of them hopping onto the bed. And this one is attacking Dragon. What's secondary Dragon's, which Dragon 2's DR? Is it just 10? 12?
If we saw them coming, was there enough time to hit the pin?
What do you mean hit the pin?
Turn on the field?
Yeah, I would think so, yeah. I think so.
Well, in that case, he'll intentionally put himself into the fray of however many else are coming up.
Okay. So it'll be... I missed on all 3. So all 3 of the people on the flatbed missed. There's 2 more. One of them is going to try to climb inside of the cab or try to like break through the cab. So it's going to like try to smash the window with just a body test. And so I'm going to see if I can just kind of break the window of the passenger side. With an 18, it does.
Oh.
And then the next one is going to reach inside with its head. It's just going to like shove its head inside the cab and bite whoever is sitting in the passenger side. So that's Varnos.
Did call shotgun.
Varnos. What is your defense score?
12.
All right. I have not landed one yet, so let's see if I get somebody. I don't.
No.
And so that is my turn. I decided to give it to all of mine, so it means it comes to you all now. So you can go in any order you want. I'll actually no. I guess I would pick it. So I'll have Professor Nutbutter go first since he's nowhere near this.
Yeah. So I kind of quickly look over at them, and then I look behind me.
Mm-hmm.
It on the opposite side of where they are. Like, is there anything across the chasm?
Yeah, it's just like you could see across the chasm is that geometric kind of blossom rose thing that sort of was being built up and slowly being. It's like it's another probably 20 feet, 30 feet beyond the chasm.
Okay. And then would the hook that's hooked onto me reach that far?
I'm not sure how long it is. When it's hooked on, like you meaning like can you get there and still get pulled back? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is my throwing weapon is my spanner, my big old spanner, and I'm just going to throw it at them. And since that thing is behind me, I'm hoping that the force will push me in that direction. So then I can fly across the chasm and hook the hook onto it later.
Okay.
As while I'm also throwing my spanner at one of them, like.
Okay, I think I got you. Go ahead and roll an attack with your throwing weapon. Their defense is 12.
Okay. Oops.
That'll be a hit. I'm just
Nice.
going to. I'm treating them kind of like a heart swarm. They're all going to have kind of like a shared pool that eventually they'll all go down. All right, so you throw your throwing weapon. It goes, and it kind of the one that's kind of trying to dive into the cab and trying to bite away at Volnus inside catches this throwing weapon like right underneath. It's like kind of in the neck area and just kicks right in there, and this horrible spew of like black blood just kind of flies out and splatters over the side of the truck itself. And then you also kind of fly backwards a little bit, hover a bit, and you're getting closer and closer, and you kind of get right up to the base of this like 3 to 4 story high structure. And that's your turn. I think that's your action, unless you wanted to move some more on top of that. But yeah.
Thoughts and prayers, Valnos, as it's now Valnos' turn.
All right. Go ahead,
All right.
Valnos.
So at this point, I'm gonna just kind of kick over, and like my head's gonna wind up in Dragon's lap, and I'm like pushing the head back with my feet. I'm just like throwing metal Doritos at it.
Okay. Yeah. Same deal. DR. These all have the same defense. So defense 12. Okay, that is a hit. Describe how you kill this thing. Actually.
It goes like right like here, like right, not in the eye, but just right in the corner, and hits some sort of cluster and drops it.
It just kind of goes limp for a second, and its head falls down on like the broken glass, and like the body just sort of rips free from it, and then the head drops down onto your lap inside of the cab. Who are you giving the next action?
I'll give it to Dragon since he's right there.
All right, Dragon.
Yeah. Okay. Was it just the one up at the cab, or was there another?
No, there's
one near
two.
the
One of
cab?
them broke the window, and then the other one dove in. So there's another one standing right outside the window.
Oh. Well, then I think it'd be fun to kind of do like the 1-2 Simon thing. Like he does his throwing weapon, and then I'll kind of unhook, because this dragon hasn't done the chain. That was the one in the back.
Okay.
So he'll fling his toe chain at the second one.
Absolutely. So you just try to throw it past where Volnus is. Okay.
Mhm.
Roll your attack. And don't forget, you all can use your void points for advantage on the rolls. You just spend them from your situation, and you roll at advantage.
Sure, why not? Okay.
Okay, so 4-point damage, max damage.
Hey!
Nice.
All right. So that's also gonna. It doesn't kill it. It's not enough to kill it, but it is enough to sort of wither it a bit. And so I'll say I'll probably reduce its DR by 1 for whoever attacks it next.
I like to assume he copied whatever Valnus did, and like
Okay.
but his thing has a hook on the end, so it goes to the same spot, and the hook just catches right at the corner of its eye.
And you're like and you can see like the carapace is kind of getting pulled out from the underneath, like because the hook goes in and is trying to pierce out. So you see like the pointy part trying to come out the cheek.
Thank you for showing me the way.
I will
No
give
problem.
you a bad review.
Who do you want to go next there, Dragon?
I want to see what Eris is going to do.
All right, Chuck.
I am going to shoot them in the face. I'm so sorry about this. As I pull my pistol out and shoot them in the face.
Okay.
And I'm going to spend one of my 3 void points
All right.
to get advantage on this shot.
Okay. There's also risky attacks you all can do too. Risky attacks you can take, but what it does, if you succeed, you get an extra damage die. If you fail, they get an opportunity attack, even if they've already gone. It's an addition to their normal turn. Plus, they get to wrench the initiative. Now, the initiative wouldn't affect here, but they would get like an attack on you, basically. But it's a way to get extra damage if you wanted to risk it.
I'm doing risky then. Risky with advantage.
That's why I said it when Chuck was going. Oh God, the ones.
I got a 15.
Okay,
Okay,
describe how you destroy this one too.
I'm so sorry. Boom! Right, like in its weird twitchy mandibles, like, oh no, my apologies. I feel terrible. You poor thing.
You get little
Wow, you
bits of
really are
ant.
bad at making friends.
The body flops down into the back of the flatbed. And who would you like to go next?
I think there's only one person left. It's Ilya, right?
And Dragon 2, I believe, has to go still.
Oh, let's let Dragon 2 go. That way Ilya can go twice.
All right. Well, okay. So Dragon 2 can't use his chain because basically one hand is holding onto the chain that's attached to nut butter.
Yeah.
But in the other hand, he'll pull out one of his items was a tool with personal inscriptions, which is basically like either a crowbar or a tie iron or something that has double dragon towing on it, which he'll then bring out and then club at the one that's nearby him.
All right, let's make this one a disadvantage since you're still kind of hanging on, and so like you've got your attention kind of torn here. But if you want to spend void points to counteract it, that's fine too.
I will. I don't know that I have weapons programmed into his thing. It's not letting me edit stuff. So I'm gonna roll it off the first dragon's.
Yeah, well, he's
But
got
I-
flat.
the-
I think he's got flat 0, so you can just roll a straight D20.
He does. Yeah.
It's a D20 against a 12.
Okay, and I'll spin the void to make it a flat one, since,
Okay.
to make it not at disadvantage.
Okay.
20. Nice.
Yeah, we'll hit. Roll your damage.
And then for D4.
Probably D4, yeah. Okay. So the one this is another one that's out in the flatbed that's kind of attacking Ilya or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Whichever
so-
one came up and attacked him, basically.
Oh yeah, the one right in front of him. So you just kind of stab into it, and like his mandibles there, it's kind of wide open. And then it will kick over to Ilya. Actually,
Okay,
Eat
so
this.
I will do a risky attack and shoot the one that Dragon 2 is just attacking.
okay. All right. So with a 14 to hit, 5 points of damage. Yeah, describe how you finish this one off after Dragon loosens him up.
So Ilya's just going to kind of rotate a little bit off to the side to kind of get a better angle, and so it's going to kind of go ear hole.
Okay. So it just kind of turns a little bit. I don't know if they have ears, but it turns a little bit, and you make an ear hole is basically what happens.
Yeah.
And so kind of the bullet comes out the other side and flops down onto the ground or onto the flatbed. And then you get to go again. Well, actually, you get to choose who starts the next round off. You could be yourself. It could be somebody else. That's first round.
So I'm going to kind of look to Dragon 2 and say, I think we make a good one too. You should go first.
That is very kind of you, Ilya. You are very skilled. I'm so glad we have not died yet so far.
I am as well.
Okay.
So there's one more on the flatbed that hasn't been touched. I think it's actually the one that's attacking Ilya. And then there's another one that's trying to get into the cab that has been attacked and has taken some damage. Those are the only two left.
Well, I mean, given kind of that interchange, Ilya takes out the one that's on Dragon 2. Dragon 2 will then attack the one that's on Ilya.
Absolutely.
So, just a straight D20.
Yeah, D20 again, DR12.
Okay.
You guys are rolling really well all of a sudden. I dislike this.
Gotta balance all those ones there.
I know, those are a lot of ones.
All
I should have taken advantage of it more. Okay. So you don't manage to take it out, but you do manage to maybe get its attention as you like kind of hack into it a little bit, and kind of its head goes kind of thrashing around.
Got
Maybe
the
you take it
tire
out.
iron right into the mandibles, just kind of like yank it in an awkward direction.
Absolutely. And, it's and you can see like its antenna kind of breaks off a little bit and kind of scatters about. Who would you like? Do you want to have Ilya then go next?
I'm going to pass it right back to Ilya, so it's
Perfect.
kind of like that weird little tag team thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounds
Ilya's
great.
going to do the same thing. I will do it risky again, hopefully not at the cost of Dragon number 1.
Sure.
But this will be risky. Pistol shot.
Yeah. You got it. All right. You
7 damage.
obliterate this one without much effort. Yeah, absolutely. This one's gone. This one's gone as well. Its head kind of spun around, and you're able to put an ear hole in the other side now too. So now you have 3 dead ants on the back of this flatbed. Both you and Dragon have gone. Everybody else gets to go still. So there's one left that's currently attacking you all, trying to climb into the cab to bite Volnos. Who do you want to go next then?
Valnos.
All right, Volnos.
All right. Well, it seemed to work okay. I'm just throwing the metal Doritos.
Okay.
We just wanted to see if you wanted us to clean your windows.
1 point of damage. That actually is exactly enough to kill it because it had 1 health left.
Nice.
So as this thing falls, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say this time it wound up in the mouth, and I was like, oh shit, it just ate it, and then it just choked and died.
So all of you look around at this point. There's like 5 of these dead, tall, like 7 foot tall, strange, like ant-like creatures with these dripping mandibles. Like you can see as whatever fluid or saliva is like dripping onto the exterior of the truck. It's actually kind of eating away somewhat at the metal, and you can see that the paint on the outside of the truck as well is almost liquefying a bit, and you're seeing it just start to drip down a bit. So it's lucky that none of you actually got bit by this. But at the same time, as you start looking around, figuring out where everybody is, you see that Professor Nutbutter is over at the base of this tower thing. You look back up in the sky, and you actually start seeing that those shifting flying bugs are beginning to move and twist, and now they're kind of starting to make an approach vector in the direction of the flatbed. And you also notice more slowly, starting from the back of the truck, it looks like that last kind of chasm to close off the square is beginning to form as well. It's moving more slowly, though. So that's the situation. What do you all want to do?
So when you say chasm, is this like back the truck up, jump the truck chasm, or this is like?
You can certainly try.
Yes.
I mean, this is Jeremy's thing. This is what he does.
Do it.
You can certainly try.
I will just push down on your knee right
Yep.
here.
Francis is gonna try and get to that building so he can hook the hook up to it.
Okay. You get over to the building and you go to hook the hook up into it, and you realize that as it goes through, it's literally just sand. Like this is just like a sand castle in this form that's
Oh.
being shaped. And so like the hook just goes right through it, and you see the sand just begin to like dribble down from it. There's nothing sturdy in here to really you can get it in there, but it doesn't. You're pretty confident if it pulls, it's not going to like rip the whole thing down. It's going to take a small chunk of the sand.
Fascinating. And I start quickly looking for anything else to tie this hook off on.
Sure. High or low, Adam?
Low.
Okay. Yeah, you see some rocks and stuff in the distance, but you don't think that where you're at and where the truck is that you can make it there to sort of wrap it around. Captain, I don't think I have that set up. I think we could just add void points that gives them stuff they can activate powers and roll with advantage. That's what we'll probably do for bits.
Ooh.
All right.
Or
So,
void.
what would you all like to do with that in mind? There's definitely more that are coming towards you right now.
I guess we're ramping the truck.
Yeah.
It's all
this
you.
seems like the best thing.
I'll help push your foot down because I'm still laying down with my head in your lap. Like, go steer.
Thank you so much. We will put the pedal to the metal.
Okay. You probably go in reverse for like 10 feet or so to get a little bit extra more space to peel off. Roll it dex, I guess dex. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I'll do that. And I you know what, Cap, I want to use your generous donation there to do this at advantage.
Perfect timing. Yep, perfect timing.
You can like tell us where we need to be to like put the weight in the right place.
Okay.
Oh, we needed it.
Describe how you jump this like sandy chasm. What does it look like?
Well, the number one thing that provides difficulty in the situation is getting proper traction in the sand. However, there are many dead bodies now in the sand, so he uses the dead ants as traction. As he spins the wheels, it fishtails, catches their bodies, and then goes.
Like the front end, like just smashes into the other side of the chasm, almost like digging into it a little bit. But you're able to kind of push forward a little bit. You got just enough speed, and there's huge wheels, so that they're kind of picking up and then you continue to drive across. However, I believe Professor Nutbutter is attached to a chain.
Yep.
In a hammock. I'm going to need Professor Nutbutter to roll, and I'll give you a choice, Adam. Body or dex to hold on as you are yanked crazily on this chain. Body or dex is fine. Body is like more like strength. Dex is more like, agility.
We're gonna go with
balance.
Body.
Okay. Okay. So
No.
you all make it across.
That's my best stat.
Everybody in the back, roll a savvy test.
Oh no.
I'll let Valnos do it too, I guess. Actually, no, you said your head is in his lap, right?
Yeah.
All right, never mind.
I'm like laying down across the sea.
To fail for Ilya.
Okay.
I want to use a void point.
Okay.
Somehow Dragon, the one holding the chain, rolled the one.
He's too concerned with his, whoever's driving. You start driving away. You move probably about a good maybe 100 meters before Aris, you look back and you notice that the hammock is empty.
We've lost Nut Butter. I'll just stand and give him a salute as we drive away.
And it is that moment in time
Yeah.
that wherever Professor Nutbutter is, it will soon be over. And just moments before it's over, he's gonna.
We
he's
see
gonna say,
we see the flying ants beginning to swarm down. Like there's like a dozen of them that are approaching right on Nutbutter as you're just watching the truck drive away. And then what happens, Adam?
he's gonna just go, and then all of a sudden, boop, he uses his mutation of feedback loop to go backwards 10 seconds in time.
Which means we'll say he goes into the hammock, because that's where he was 10 seconds ago. He was inside the hammock, and then you appear in the hammock as all of those flying ants swarm down. Arius, you're looking back, and all of a sudden he's there. You're like, whoa, geez.
As I go back 10 seconds, and at that point, maybe I was waiting for them to jump. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I'm going to start like reeling myself in so that I'm closer to the truck.
And you all drive and drive. Eventually, those of you in the back of the truck are able to help Nutbutter onto the flatbed. And you continue to drive as you watch behind you. All like there's this swarm of these flying lions, lions that are chasing after you. But you managed to pick up enough speed to keep them at bay. That was amazing, Adam. That was awesome. That was one of the best
really
use of that
cool.
power.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
So now I'm in the back of the flatbed.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hey, thanks. Name's Professor Nutbutter, as I hold my hand out towards Ilya. What's your name?
Ilya.
Ilya, pleasure to meet you. Hey, what's going on, Eris? Dragon 2?
Hello.
Yeah, things are going great.
Why did you only forget Ilya?
What do you mean?
Well, you knew Ilya before.
Oh, you've been here. As I look at Ilya.
Ilya's just gonna like you have your EVA suit on, but she's just gonna like smack you upside the head.
Oh, assault! Oh, as I start like feverishly trying to find my spanner to defend myself with, and oh yeah, that's right. I threw it.
It is not intended assault. Ilya is simply frustrated that you have forgotten her.
Trying to shake the cobwebs out, as they say.
It happens. Sometimes I can travel through time, and when I do, I forget some things. It's just kind of
Well, better
happens.
that you traveled through time and forgot my name than fell to the bottom of that. So
Yeah. Hey.
We're glad you're here. So, because you have not died, we would like to count that as a successful rescue. If you would please click this link to rate your pleasure with this rescue.
Oh yeah, sure. No, I'll always recommend Double Dragon. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Party Wipe Games, thank you so much for the raid. It's good to see you. It's been a while.
Welcome.
It's good to see you. Playing Death in Space, we just had the weirdest escape from a bunch of ants. It was pretty awesome, actually. Okay, so you all continue driving for a bit, but eventually you come to the ridge of a canyon. And you look down and you can see that nestled in the canyon, you can see almost like digging into it in some ways, is what looks like this large asteroid hauler. It's a very large, bulky, ugly ship, but it's there. You don't notice like a particularly easy way to get down, but for the sake of expediency, we'll say you drive around enough until you find some sort of switchback. It's going to take a while, but you eventually make your way down. The strange thing is when you get down to the base of the canyon, as you're driving about, you notice that there are these strange pockets that start to appear, sometimes in these gaps of rock, sometimes in the canyon walls, sometimes just literally in the air. These almost Rorschach-like ink blots that are shifting and moving. And you hear like elements of static, like just kind of coming out of them in some way, like just peering out of them. And whenever they're like right, like on some sort of matter, you can see like the rock begin to crumble and kind of get sucked up into it. Up in the air, it's just kind of hanging and shifting and moving. And the wind kind of throws some dust into it. And then you could just see that huge swath of dust just disappear into that sort of staticky void. You move around it and you can see that it's got this weird sort of two-dimensional feel to it. Then you get up to the ship. And you can see that the ship itself looks to be, from just first glance from the outside, in relatively good condition. Seems intact. Doesn't look like it suffered an extraordinarily amount of damage. Obviously inside might be a different story, but you don't see any signs of any major hull breaches or anything like that. But it looks to be like an intact ship. This is a hell of a find for this planet. What would you all like to do?
Would it be possible, since there are, I suppose, 3 of us capable of interacting with this machinery, to perhaps see if we can discover what areas would need work to make it operational, or if that is even a viable option?
If we can
sure.
get it operational, that would give us our own ship.
I can do it very quickly.
Okay.
It always works.
Have
I
no
thi-
doubt in your skill.
I think it's
use
reasonable.
my,
Yeah, go ahead, John.
I'm gonna use my voice of the void and see if I can get something or communicate with these weird patches of things. See if there's anything while they're investigating the ship.
Okay. So as you're perusing these different shifting, and they're not very big, these weird kind of, and they're constantly moving. Think of them like literally like Rorschach from Watchmen, except it's just the black, and the static emits from it. And as you start to try to reach out with your voice of the void, you kind of focus, and maybe you even admit something yourself, you hear these crackling, painful whispers kind of come back, like people are on the other side. You can't make out any major points of communication. You can't make out words, but you can tell pain is definitely something that they're exhibiting. Confusion, they state like that is just this constant state that's coming, sort of funneling through you into your own brain. And then while you're kind of messing around, you'll notice that one of these blots dissipates and then winks out. But then another one somewhere else will kind of start to form as well.
Interesting. But also possibly dangerous. I'm going to move back closer to the ship.
I have a great way that we can test to see if it's dangerous. Let's throw John's body at one of them and see if it does it any harm.
Okay.
Well,
I think they're going to somewhere else, and that somewhere else isn't great.
but would they view that as an act of aggression?
If someone threw a dead body at me, I would also view it as an act of aggression.
So somebody
What
gives
if you're an
Eris a
Undertaker?
hand. Someone grabs the legs. Someone grabs the arms. You do the
Two,
swing, and you throw it.
Yeah.
And the body just kind of just flops through the air. And you see as it hits the edge of one of those shifting black voids, it just folds in on itself and just gets sucked into it in like the most horrible, painful, crunching sound possible. Now, he's already dead, so there weren't any screams that accompanied it.
They're very dangerous.
But they look very dangerous.
Huh. Miniature black holes.
So,
That explains static.
Dragon, were you connecting to the ship?
Yes.
You find like an exterior panel probably like cargo bay entrance or something like that. And you plug in, you kind of stitch your hand into it, or maybe cables come out and push it. Mm-hmm. And static overwhelms you at first. The ship itself, you can tell, is in great pain, actually. You can kind of sense that there's almost like the equivalent of a whimpering, like an animal that has long been wounded and is almost used to the pain, is just sitting there whimpering.
Make sure to share that.
So maybe the sooner that we get this thing moving, the sooner we can free it, maybe?
Oh, I can do that fast. Yes. I'm really good at it. If I know what to do.
I'll give you a hand.
You
check maybe. Is there like a main computer bay or?
Yeah. So you guys, but with Dragon interacting with the outside panel, you can get the ship to open up. You go inside, and again, for case of expediency, because we're right up against it, there are 3 things of note. One, in the cargo bay, there is a massive bomb, for lack of a better word. Those of you who had some experience in the war would recognize this as some sort of kind of a weapon of mass destruction. There appears to be more of those sort of void blots, and they seem to be kind of leaking out from this machine, this sort of massive bomb in the cargo bay. Like somehow the casing or something is leaking and causing this void to leak out. The second thing you notice on the ship is that, or the third thing I should say, is that the cryopods are filled with people. And you notice kind of draped on nearby furniture, here and there, racks, locker room stuff, are military uniforms. Outdated. No one wears this stuff anymore. This is uniforms from 10, 15, 20 years ago. And you would think you've probably found these people have probably been in cryo for a fairly long time. You start going through, those of you, again, so many of you can hook up to the computer. It's fairly easy to get this information. That you can tell that these people have been in cryo for at least 12 years. And that you can tell that there's been some sort of degradation going on as well.
Ilya would want to wake them up out of cryo.
Okay.
Breathe.
Hey, Dragon, can you talk to the bomb? Is that a thing you could maybe do?
I can also talk to the bomb.
Oh, yeah, Eris.
Next time we play, it's like be a single freaking computer. None of your just rocks everywhere.
Then it would be unstoppable.
You talk to the you talk to the bomb. Okay.
Hello,
So
good looking.
You connect, and I need you to make a savvy test at disadvantage.
I will. Does it help if I wink at the bomb while communicating with it?
Of course it does. Never mind. Automatic success.
Double 19s.
Wow.
Wow.
Your mind is nearly instantly overwhelmed by some sort of, you're not even sure exactly what it is, some sort of sentience that exists beyond this sort of physical, something from beyond. It's almost unfathomable, to the point where your brain kind of begins to fold in upon itself, and you're you can feel yourself almost instantly just losing any cling to sanity. But you're able to kind of steal your mind and kind of create this firewall between it and you. And you realize that there is a machine in here that seems to be a literal void bomb. as if the whole purpose of this thing is to explode and create these types of sort of static void destruction here and there. Like it would just cake through and just rip through everything. And you're able to kind of hold off whatever it is on the other side of the void because there's something there. Like you can feel it, there's a presence there and it's trying to get at you. But you also know that the bomb, the machinery of the bomb itself, like the casing itself, almost like the nuclear casing is leaking and somehow the void is seeping in without the bomb actually detonating.
I will relay that information. I say we find the launch command console and shoot this into space.
I was wondering if maybe
Shove
the
it off the
entity.
back of the ship and leave.
I was wondering if maybe the entity that's keeping this here was a peaceful entity during the war, trying to make sure that a nuclear bomb was not released.
I don't know. It certainly seems like a jerk now.
Well, yes. Now it's not needed because the war is over.
We just need to start a new war.
Or we
That-
leave it here and it can eat the ants.
We had a different takeaway, Eris.
We did.
Yeah,
I
you would
was
be able
on
to-
the winning side.
Eris, you'd be able to put together like this is like a nuke basically. Like it has
Yeah.
that kind of radius, right? Now, Ilya, while you're messing around the cryopods, you're kind of getting ready to wake one of them up. You notice actually that one of them has like their numbers are strange. You can definitely tell that their medical numbers are really making no sense. And when you peer into one of the pods, you can see that the face of one of the people inside is one of those. It's basically one of those ink blots, just sort of shifting and moving around. You no longer see eyes. You no longer see a nose. You no longer see a mouth. You just see this ovular head, shaved like military style, and you can see like its face is just sort of caving inward, and there's just this sort of staticky void that's shifting around in their body. You go from pod to pod, you notice this is the case for all of them.
So Ilya will not bring anyone out of cryo. Having made that observation, we'll share back. So let's see what we've got. We've got a bomb that's leaking. We have supposedly military staff in cryo that have changey faces like the things outside.
Yes.
Perhaps they've been here for too long. Perhaps if we remove them from this environment, they may go back to their original state. Perhaps, though, we should fix this and get out of here before we do anything else.
You should
Perhaps
fix the casing on the bomb.
perhaps Valnos has thought that we shoot this off and save the area around it was not incorrect.
Let us blow
Well,
up
if
the
we-
bomb.
If we fix the bomb, then it won't leak. It won't blow up unless we set it off.
Well,
Then
look
we
at
can
it this
start
way.
the new war.
I bet if we screw up fixing the bomb, it's going to go off anyway then. So we'll either win or we'll be dead. So,
What's the worst that could happen?
it's balanced. It's great. I love this plan.
So the plan is we shoot it into space?
We fix it so it doesn't leak. Right?
But fixing could lead to blowing up.
Only if we set it off.
I'm
Why would we do such a thing like that? There's no reason to fight.
I'm pretty good at things with tech.
Not bad.
I'm
I say
very
we
good
just
at doing
launch it.
things quickly.
I think we want do it right, not do it fast. I think
Well-
that's what we want.
If it's done fast, sometimes it's done right.
Sometimes.
I've completely lost the thread of this conversation.
Let's do
What are
this.
we doing?
Come on, let's fix it.
We're fixing the bomb and shooting it
you're
off.
repairing
Did you
the
have some
I think.
incense from Professor Nutbutter? That happened to me before.
Oh, yeah. And I take out another incense stick and I light it.
Okay, so who is going to try to repair the bomb? It's going to be a tech test at
Yeah,
disadvantage.
Ilya's got 2 tech. So
I got 2.
Okay.
As
Who
long
wants
as
to
I'm not
do
the
it?
only one.
I do.
Adam does.
Ilya does too.
yeah, I've got 2. You've got 2.
I got 2.
I've got -1.
It is decided then. Nut butter does it.
No. And we have void points, so
Okay.
He's
Disadvantage.
real excited.
Failure will likely set this thing off. Just so everyone's aware of the stakes.
Anybody want any help? Or
Yeah,
should I do this myself?
I'll help.
oh yeah, definitely helping.
Okay, are you helping me or am I helping you? It's
You
probably
seem to-
best if
you're
you help
really-
me. If you
yeah,
tell
you're
me
real
what to
eager.
do, I can do it quickly.
Okay.
All right, let's do this. Help me.
All right. First, you're gonna unscrew that. You're gonna take that off.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Now what?
All right. You take that one. And you go hold that other one in your teeth, and then grab that other one with your with your toe.
Very
So
specific.
glad no one cut our toes off today.
Oh, goodness. All right.
Are you saying that you put the feet together like this?
Oh, God.
Like
No,
that?
we were
Just like
doing
this.
so well. We were doing
And you
so
hold
well.
the bolt between them.
Oh, goodness. All right. Anyway, tech disadvantage, Adam. Go ahead.
And then
All right,
there's
I'm going to
nuts.
spend.
Spend a void to just make it a regular roll.
Right, so if they try and assist me, does that do anything or?
I think you can spend multiple void points if you have them. So you can spend. I think you can spend more than one to get. I think you can potentially spend like 2 void points to counterbalance.
Right, so if they assist, does that do anything or is that?
Yeah,
not
I
in
mean,
this
I'll give
game?
you. Yeah, I will give you advantage then. So if you spend a void point to get normal, and then they're assisting you, we'll kick it up to advantage at that point.
Okay, I will definitely spend a void point
Okay.
because I'm going to need it. And it's tech, so.
It is tech. So now so you went from rolling a disadvantage, now you're rolling an advantage. Chuck, I do not like that combination. Notes.
Oh no.
Okay. Who was helping?
Ilya and Falmouth.
Yeah, that's you.
Okay, so both Eris, Dragon, and Dragon 2. You hear on your, we'll say, close range internal comms,
Oh shit! Those aren't my
horrific
rolls. Okay.
pain, horrific screams from your 3 allies as Professor Nutbutter is working on trying to repair this casing with no real knowledge of how to do any of this. Accidentally makes it worse and allows the void leak to actually become a gush, and it just covers almost half the cargo bay now in this huge kind of void static, shifting and encompassing all 3 of Ilya, Professor Nutbutter, and Volnos, who, much like the body of John the Space Fisherman, fold awkwardly and awfully and painfully and are sucked into the void static, dead.
At that
Hey, I died.
point, is there any time to use my feedback loop to go back?
No, absolutely not. You are dead. You had the what's it called? The I guess the stakes were set. You get cut in half by a malfunctioning. So that's how Ilya would have died. You were supposed to have died by getting cut.
Oh, what is that?
It's, about the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it wasn't a crit fail, so it didn't like explode, but it did get worse. So I'll say, Jeremy, Chuck, how do we want to narrate the end of this? We don't have to play it all out. It's getting late, so why don't we just narrate? How does this end for the 2 of you? And for Dragon number 2.
Well, there's 3 seats in the cab, right?
This is true. So I assume this is a pork chop sandwich situation where we grab what we can and move quickly.
Yes.
Cryopods are probably very valuable.
Can we get to them? Yeah.
Yes, and if we are concerned about the status of those within the cryopod, we simply throw them into the void, which crumples bodies.
Or think how much more strange bodies full of black woobly woos will be worth.
Perhaps they could be provided appropriate medical attention.
Or sold. Yes, we'll take all the cryopods and then have a leisurely drive back to town.
So, our closing image is this montage of the dragons, of Eris taking these cryopods, loading them up onto the flatbed, anything else that can't, that's easily enough to sort of move and shift, and you basically load the flatbed up with all sorts of goodies. And there's plenty of room in the front of the cab now for the truck. As the three of you get back in, the rest of your crew horribly, painfully disintegrated, eaten, consumed by that void static. And the three of you go driving back through ant-folk infested lands as fast as you can, not stopping for anything. And we'll say you make it back to Acrimonia with plenty of goods to sell. And I think that's where we're going to end, with two people making it back with a crap ton of very valuable salvage. Okay.
Hollows abound for those that live.
Yep. Okay. So that is Death in Space. So counting John the Space Fisherman, I think that's four dead people. Right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Four dead people.
Yep.
So 4 for 7. That's a pretty good app. That's Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah,
that's Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah, that's good.
Got to get Adam to roll on the vision table.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Professor Nutbutter was supposed to die.
So let's see, John, you were supposed to drown slowly in your own EVA helmet. Oh my god! After a cooling.
That
system
sounds like
failure.
an awful way to go. This might have
does.
been the better way.
Yeah.
It isn't his cooling system, so it would be a cool way to go.
It would be a cool way to go.
So yeah, Adam, go into the what's it called? The
Roll tables.
yeah, roll tables, Death in Space Vision. How are you supposed to die? You are reborn as someone else after a dare to touch an ancient glitchy figurine.
That's awesome.
That's perfect. I think it fits.
That would have happened moments later.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we do some closing plugs, then we'll rate some buddies. So let's see. Jeremy, tell us about this Patreon.
Hey, Aaron Reese on Patreon. You get comics, maps, art, RPG assets. It's a good time.
Excellent. Chuck, what are the Fenders doing this week?
Wednesday. Thunder Riff, Fantasy Age. Faces here. We'll be there as well.
Yeah.
And Friday. Well, the crew's supposed to be wrapping Anvia. I don't know if they will, because I am going to go hang out with Adam Friday night.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, right on. John, where can we find you most of the time? Where do you run games?
Yeah, I run games over on twitch.tv slices and dices. I run a Savage Risk game. We just had that last week. And then this Thursday, I believe they're doing a second episode of Magi Nights, which just finished their Kickstarter. And the developers come and chat with us on the server and stuff. And then I think we're also doing, and I think Friday they've got a Ravenloft game going. So
Perfect.
good stuff.
I just dropped the link, slices and the letter and dices. And finally, Adam, what's GMP doing?
We are doing everything we can to prep for Gen Con coming up. If you ever wanted to tell your parents that you made money playing games, well, if you want to, you can sign up here at this forum. And if you're going to Gen Con, you can run some games with us. We've still got a couple slots open. We'd love to have some game masters. We're paying $15 an hour, $20 per session. So it could be up to $80 per game session that you run. And we're running Blackbirds, Zweihander, and Flames of Freedom for Andrews McNeil Universal. So if you're into any of that, fill out that form. And then, yeah, what Chuck was talking about earlier, he's coming over to play, to run Blackbirds because it just came out. And so we're either going to go live or it'll later end up on YouTube, one or the other. So it'll all depend on who's playing and whether or not they want to be live, because some people don't like to do that. So
That means I have to learn how to play Blackbirds.
Yeah. There's quite a few changes from Zweihander. So yeah, you can't really wing it. But if you get something wrong, Mike will tell you. He's been studying it up and down. So
Right on. Okay, as for us here on the Lollygaggers, Friday we're back to Hunter the Reckoning, the new H5, the new fifth edition version, dropped a couple weeks ago. A lot of fun. We got a couple episodes already up on the YouTube channel. Saturday we'll be back to One Ring second edition. And are we doing Heart on Saturday night, Adam?
As far as I know.
Okay, as far as okay, so we should hopefully be over on Grim and Perilous Plays, playing Heart Saturday night, and then next Monday, I hope that we're back to Holler, but we'll see how it goes. We've been having some Monday scheduling issues because of holidays and travel and whatnot. So, but we'll hopefully be back to Holler next week. But thank you to everybody who hung out tonight. Thank you for those of you who threw us some bits. Thank you to Party Wipe Games for the raid. We're gonna pay it forward. It looks like Diesel Shot, our friends over there, are still playing, so we're gonna go ahead and raid them. Follow that when it pops up. We're gonna go on the end screen for now, and we'll see you all next time. So good night, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.